The Path Beneath the Moonlight. No one in the town of Green Hollow could quite remember where the path began, and no one had ever truly seen it during the daylight. All they knew was that, on nights of the full moon, in that fleeting moment between midnight and dawn, a strange stone path would appear along the eastern edge of the forest, where by day there was nothing but weeds and thick oak trees. Ellen Carrington first heard the tale one autumn afternoon in the town's library, flipping through old botany books. She was 72, living alone since her husband, William, passed away 3 years prior. Ellen was not the sort to believe in mysteries, but there was something in the old librarian's eyes, when he spoke of the path beneath the moonlight, that made it feel more like memory than myth. "All you need is the right time," he whispered, "a clear full moon. You'll see the stones shine like they're lit from underneath." Ellen chuckled softly as she left the library, assuming it was just another local legend. But that night, when she stepped onto her porch to water her chrysanthemums, she looked up, and there it was. A perfect full moon, bright and silver, with not a single cloud in the sky. Ellen had always loved nature. In her younger years, she taught botany at the community college. After retirement, she spent her days wandering the hills around Green Hollow, cataloging native plants, sketching leaves, collecting rare seeds. That night, something stirred in her. A quiet insistence, like a voice carried on the wind, whispering just outside her window. By 11:30 p.m., she found herself slipping into her old gray cardigan and walking toward the eastern edge of the forest. As she drew closer, she saw it. A path of stone, winding deep into the woods. The stones shimmered softly, glowing with a pale blue light that couldn't possibly come from the moon. Ellen stood frozen. Her heart beat not with fear, but with wonder. A thrill she hadn't felt since she was 30. She stepped onto the path. The stones were cool beneath her feet, each step making a faint click like glass tapping gently. The forest was quiet but not silent. The rustle of leaves, the scurry of small animals, and then a sound unlike anything else. A distant melody, a song without words drifting gently through the trees. The path meandered, curving with intention. Ellen felt no need to question where it led. Her feet seemed to know the way, as if she'd walked it many times before. Eventually, the trees thinned. Ahead of her opened a small clearing, a garden. No fence, no marker, just a hidden patch of earth blooming with wildflowers, impossibly alive in a season when most should have withered. She recognized spring ferns, buttercups, purple salvia, and even ancient rose bushes, all in full bloom, as if it were May. A breeze stirred, carrying the scent of earth, blossoms, and something older. Something remembered. At the center of the garden sat a simple wooden bench beneath a lone red maple. And on the bench lay a notebook. Ellen approached and opened it. The first page was handwritten, neat script, slightly left-leaning. It was unmistakably William's handwriting. "You always loved gardens that bloomed out of season. I built you a place like that, where time isn't the master, just the quiet gardener." Ellen froze. Her hands trembled, and her breath caught. William had written those exact words in his proposal letter to her over 45 years ago. The pages that followed were filled with notes, small poems, quiet thoughts. Some were stories, entries that felt like William speaking to her from beyond. "I knew you'd find this place. Not too soon, not too late. When you stopped searching for wonder, it would find you." Ellen read silently. The wind paused. The garden seemed to listen with her. Every line of ink felt like a heartbeat, a memory, an embrace. She sat on the bench, quietly. No tears, no fear, just a deep knowing that somewhere in this forest, love had lingered long after goodbye. The moon began to dip. The glow on the stones dimmed. Ellen stood, notebook in hand. She turned to retrace her steps, but the path had already begun to fade, dissolving into morning mist as if it had never been. She didn't rush. She walked slowly. By the time she reached her house, the clock struck 4. She placed the notebook on the table by the window, poured herself a cup of chamomile tea, and watched the moon disappear. No need for explanations. No need to understand what had happened. The next morning, she returned to the edge of the woods. But there was only wild grass and soft dirt. No stone, no path. From that night on, every full moon, Ellen would wrap herself in her cardigan and take a walk just before midnight. Not to find the path, but to remember that it was real. A kind of magic meant only for those who had loved, waited, and believed. She never told anyone, except once, in a letter left to her granddaughter before she passed away. If one night you feel something call you from your house, follow it. Especially if the moon is full and the sky is clear. You might just find the garden, where love never fades.